All right, welcome back everyone. We're going to start with a little bit of good news. So I was able to figure out the stereo audio issue with the Genesis. Basically all I had to do is just reflow the solder connections on the bottom side of the motherboard where the AV port connects. And then after that I just blew some air into the port, firmly inserted the cable, and now we have stereo audio. In addition to that, I do think I have at least figured out how we are getting all that signal noise on the audio lines. I was reading online that sometimes the power input to the Genesis can interfere if it's hooked up to other stuff as well, so I did order an OEM Genesis 2 power supply. We will be testing that later this afternoon and see if we can clean up that audio a bit. Even if that does not work, there's a few other things I am prepared to do. So I've ordered a cap kit for the Genesis and I've ordered the triple bypass mod. We will be installing both of those a little bit later. And basically, no matter what, we are going to do everything we can to get the cleanest and best video and audio signals off of the motherboard. In addition to that, we are going to be finishing up the cartridge collars today. So I'm gonna throw another layer of paint, do a little bit more sanding, and then throw some engine enamel on those actually. I think it's gonna look really great. After that, we're getting a delivery today as well for some more 10-pin connectors so we can build the final relay, which will be relay number 5. We will install and power all the relays and test out the control panel. So a lot to get to today. Let's get started. First thing we're going to do today is deal with these two almost finished prints of the cartridge collar. So they are exactly the same. They've both been painted and sanded probably like 6 or 8 times at this point. But I'm going to sand them one more time, give them one more coat of black paint, and then we're going to hit them with the Rust-Oleum engine enamel gloss. So I think that this is going to make it look really good, and it's going to protect it from scratches and whatnot. So let's get started on that. First things first, we need to do some sanding, and I'm going to start with this one, which is the one I like a little bit less. And it doesn't need much. We're using like the 1500 grit right now. I'm just trying to smooth away any imperfections really at this point. So there's just little bits of debris or whatever that may have gotten stuck to it. We're just trying to get that all off of there so we can paint it one more time. And we'll do this one. One of these two will be the one featured in the final build. That's what I'm hoping for. Really trying to pay special attention to the corners, the edges. They are sort of rounded off now, which is intentional. But I just want to make sure we give a little extra attention to those areas. So the way I've been attempting this is to just keep them in this box, paint them from a reasonable distance, and then move the box inside as soon as I can to hopefully prevent any debris from showing up on the sticky surface right after it's been painted. Burn a little bit off first.
One of the first things we're going to be dealing with this week is the additional modifications to the Team Player. So I tried to cut open the original cables that were part of the accessory. And it's that awful kind of wire where they put like cotton strands in with the wire and the actual copper is super thin. So I decided I didn't want to work with that. I ordered a couple aftermarket cables. They're just extension cords, right? The wire inside is great, but the problem is while it does use the same colors of wire, they don't actually match up to the same color scheme. So I'm going to be doing some testing with the multimeter, and we are going to decode this wiring. All right, well, here's the solution. Apparently brown goes to red, red goes to black, black goes to blue, blue goes to green, green goes to brown, white goes to yellow, yellow goes to orange, orange goes to gray, and gray goes to white. I have no idea why they would do it like that, but we figured it out. So here we have completed our first cable. This is the proper translation. So everything you see here is properly matched up. I just tested the 5-volt and ground pins and verified that everything was correct. So I'm going to seal this one up, and then we get to make a version with 2 plugs on the end. And with that, that should be the final 2 custom cables we need. And we've got our 6 all wired up. It's on right now, so every connection is broken except for ground, and then when it's off, which would be only in 2-player mode, it would be connected from TP2 to G2. Also, real quick, I just threw some labels on these. So the controller plugs themselves, G1 and G2. And then the plugs on the ends, so 2 of them go into R5, so one's normally open, one's normally closed, and then R6 just gets one in the normally closed position.
So we have just made a little extension cord for our 5 volts going to relay 0. So one end of this, I believe this end, has to go up by where the control panel will be. So we will just kind of let that dangle there for now. And then this one has to go somewhere that will reach relay 0 where it's somewhat easily accessible. So if I just plug this in right here. All right, so there's relay 0. This one is going to interface with the team player. It's going to switch power for this distribution block. So somewhere probably right about here would not be a bad spot at all. I just want to make sure I leave room to get to the team player eventually with these 3 wires. I have adapted these wires a little bit. We are going to hook this one into the normally open side and this one right here into the common terminal. So this needs to come on this side. These need to be coming off this side. And let's stick it right here. So this black wire needs to go into the A side. All right, and then this is going to go down into the B side, actually. I think we've got it. It's kind of hard to show. It's a tight space, but I do have 4 relays installed in here. I think number 1's a little crooked. I'm going to try to fix that. But they're all connected to power, and they all have clearly labeled connection points to the team player. We've got the team player installed on this board. It is currently wired up to relay 0 for the switching between multi and extra modes, so 2-player, 4-player. We have the cables coming off of it right now. Those get hooked into relays 5 and 6. I think we're going to go apply the enamel to the cartridge collars. We're back outside. It has gotten significantly hotter and brighter, but we're just going to take a look at the 2 cartridge collars. I'm just trying to evaluate the amount of schmutz and how ready I think they are for the enamel, and I think we're there. It does have quite the sparkly gloss to it. We're going to hit it with a second coat. Now we're going to do a third medium wet coat according to the instructions, and then we're going to let it fully dry. See how she does. All right, so just to kind of show you where I'm at, there's the 4 primary controlling relays, and then R0, which controls the block, powers up those guys, and then also powers up R6 here. R6, the functionality of it basically just unplugs controller plug 2 from the Genesis. So I have all the components I need now to build Relay 5, but I think also while we do that, we're going to design kind of apparatus for the OEM power brick that will kind of hold it in place and allow us to power it off of the power supply, but just the live and neutral lines here. All right, we've got Relay 5 all assembled. I just need to put it in the enclosure, and the problem with that is the one that printed already, I didn't realize it till I started putting this together. It had some pretty pretty fatal printing errors, so I have to print another one. I'm also printing the power adapter mount right now, so it'll be a little bit, but we got some other stuff we can work on. All right, so one of them turned out great, and one of them it started peeling where the masking tape was. So I suppose I could always peel the rest of that off and paint it again, but I think we'll just go with this one. It looks pretty good. And just like that, we've got the final relay fully assembled. Hopefully the glue dries pretty quickly and I can get it in there. And then over here, we have what's hopefully the final 3D printed part printing right now. This is basically just a shell to hold the power adapter and this little outlet thing receptacle that I bought. So we'll see how that works. Hell yeah, I need to clean up some of this cable stuff going on in here, but generally speaking, we got it. Here it is. So this is a 120 volt outlet that you can take the Model 2 Genesis power adapter and just stick it right in, and this will hold it in place and safely connect it to the mainline power on the power supply. I still have to put the cartridge collar on the control deck and then get that all wired up to all the relays, but that'll be the first thing we do tomorrow. All right, so I was having this weird problem where I hooked everything up to the best of my knowledge correctly, and the Genesis just wouldn't power on, right? And so I was paranoid that I had cooked the Genesis motherboard, or my homemade outlet was the problem, or something weird had happened, but it turns out what it was is I had wired one of these connectors on the Team Player backwards, so I had mirrored them instead of flipping them 180 degrees. I have corrected that and everything's hooked back up the way that it should be as far as I can tell, and we're gonna power everything up and just verify that it works. So we have flipped the power on, both controllers are connected. Yesterday the problem was when I had G1 connected it would turn the Genesis off, but G2 worked just fine. So I flipped that wiring arrangement and it seems like we are out of the woods. So I think at this point we can hook the control deck up properly. Right here would be the Genesis on off, 12 volt main. Cool, and then we have, this is our 5 volt output and input for the relay. This is for switch 2. Yeah, we have our 5 volt non-switched right here. Any of these connections in the front that we can bring forward, I would like to bring forward. Let's see if she works. Okay, everything powers on. I'm gonna stop it there and get it controls hooked up. We're gonna be testing everything here, put together, not completely cosmetically put together, but functionally. Everything should be working. And we are in 2-player mode, so this would be player 1. So I'm just gonna hit start here. Cool. It's like up and down are working. So A is working, B is working, C is working. Start pauses it. Okay, it seems like we're pretty good here. Just gonna throw a bat top on here quick. Okay, so 2-player seems to be working. Apparently you have to press start. So player 1 is Max. Why is Blaze acting weird? She's constantly walking. Yeah, her buttons seem kind of messed up. Let's clear out all these enemies and we can test it a little bit more. So she's responding to controls, but they're just not correct. She can't walk up or down. A does nothing, B does nothing. C seems to be a combination of A and B. All right, so what I've got here is my little field monitor, and I've got the test controller that we built way at the beginning right here. I tested all the lines to the control deck and everything seemed fine, so I'm just gonna use this, try out the controls for player 2 and see what we can find out. Alright, so in my testing, the player 2 controls partially work, but it is confirmed to be something on the relay or the board, so we're going to pull it out and investigate. Alright, I've got R2 installed back in here. I redid all the connections on the Genesis controller board side of things. The problem persists when it's plugged into any form of player 2, not when it was player 1. So what we're going to do is we're just going to test the Genesis itself to see if there's maybe some bad filtering or something going on for its second input, and we're going to figure it out. So I've just got 2 regular controllers plugged in here, and as you can see, Axel, who's player 2 in this case, Axel just keeps wanting to walk to the left, and I have him hooked up to this 3-button controller here. So B does nothing, A does nothing, C does a combination, which I think that's B and C when that happens. Start works, up does nothing, left makes him actually go left, right goes right, down makes him also go left. I'm gonna read up on this a little bit. I think I know what to do roughly though. It's definitely a problem with one of these on the Genesis itself. I found a post on Reddit discussing a very similar issue, and according to that post, it says that one of these EM filters may be shorted. So we're going to test those with the multimeter and see if we can find any problems there. Hey, we found our culprit, EM15, right there. I tested every single other one of them and they're all doing what I would expect them to do, except for that guy. So we are going to remove it and just place a jumper wire and that should fix it. Alright, according to that Reddit post that I found, this should be a feasible solution. It still doesn't work, but I did find what could possibly be some faults with a couple pins right there, so I cleaned it off with the alcohol, and I think I'm going to clean the cartridge port and everything too and just see if that helps at all. I've tried absolutely everything. This Genesis just seems to have bad input circuitry for controller 2. I tried reflowing the solder on the port, I tried tracing all the connections through the EM filters. and bypassing the ones that I thought might need to be bypassed. I tried adding a resistor, I tried replacing capacitors, and no matter what, controller 2 just seems to constantly walk down. We're just gonna try a different one because I don't think that I can solve this. This particular Genesis would work great for one-player only games. I'm hoping that the Model 2 Genesis that I get will match well enough with the mount that I already have so I don't have to remake that. That would be really nice. At least I know that all the stuff that I made works just fine. Very unfortunate, but I'm not entirely surprised. This was a Genesis that I got for $20 at MGC this year. With no cables, no nothing. It was cheap, it was risky. I had never tested controller port 2. I probably should have done that, not like I could have returned it anyway, but then I would have known at least before I went through all this that that was not working. All right, what up everybody? We are back. It is a new day and we went over to the video game exchange on the east side of Madison, Wisconsin, and oh boy, for 50 bucks, we got a Genesis, extremely clean. Oh my God, it looks incredible. I can't wait to test it, verify that it works with 2 players. And it came with an OEM power supply, crazy. Came with a beautiful controller, and it came with AV cables. And as you probably know, I have no use for most of this, but I will keep it all as backups. And I think we're gonna take this, hook it up right now, and see if we have no problems with it. All right, it's time to find out for real. First mystery, obviously, we want to find out if it works, right? If we can play 2-player games with it, that's going to tell us if it's already better than the last one we had. Second mystery I would like to solve with it, what is the motherboard revision? So let's see if the characters immediately walk down. Nah, look at that. It's clean, dog. I'm just going to test all the directions with both controllers. B works, A works, hell yeah. C works, cool. Everything's good. A works, B works, C works. Let's go. Hell yeah. Let's get a good look at that. So we are gonna do our best to open this bad boy up and see what motherboard revision it is. Even if it's not VA1, I think we can still find a way to make it work. If it's VA3 or VA4, that's gonna make things a little harder. I think we can make it work no matter what. So let's get these main case screws removed first. Let's lift the top off here. And Lance has a warranty sticker on there. Very Christian of him. For real though, check out Video Game Exchange, Madison, Wisconsin. All right, I see the 2 poles. I'm looking at these 2 things on the front. My mounting system is designed around those, so we kind of need those to be there. So now we're just gonna remove a bunch of this RF shielding and all the screws. I just want to see the numbers on it, man. It does not look like a VA1, just eyeballing it right now. I don't recognize some of those capacitors right there. I could be wrong. But I'm hoping that this should just be plug and play. I mean, everything worked back there. This is a VA0, damn it! That's okay though. I think this is a reliable motherboard though. I think people like this one. We can go ahead and remove these cartridge brace screws. Oh, somebody's definitely been in there because they taped that down. And they definitely did reflow the solder on the AV port and the power port. And the controller ports, it looks like. That looks like leaded solder. And the LED, and the voltage regulator. So I'm not really 100% sure how much of this console's already been repaired. The caps all look original. It's definitely had some work done to it. It's definitely been cleaned up too, which I appreciate. Cartridge brace fit just fine, obviously. I'm pretty confident at this point we can just hook her right up. Make sure those are in there nice and firm. Cool. Hey, one more quick note with this one too. I made a, well, out of the OEM power supply, I made a cable that has an integrated cord coming out of it that's going to be for turning the Genesis on and off instead of connecting to the switch on the board. So this way, we can control the whole power going into it and not just on the motherboard itself. So hopefully that works a little bit better. It'll keep heat off the regulator. And eventually I think we can use this same solution to power the LED on the on and off button properly. So we'll get to that a bit later. Okay, so we're just gonna do all the same stuff we did yesterday. And this time I think it'll work though. As far as I can tell, it will. That should be all of our controls. So there's a few other things I probably would like to clean up. If this were the final installation, but we're just gonna test everything. So I'm gonna fire it up and I'll bring you back around front. Let's see how it works. Here goes nothing. Make sure there's no cables in the way. Insert a game and fire it up. See what happens. So far so good, I like what I'm seeing. Sega. Yes. Yes, let's start. Let's do a duel. I feel like that's just so much easier to get into. Sure. Cool. All right, I'm gonna test out both sets of controls. Down, up, left, right, A, B, C, start, and start, left, right, down, up, A, B, C. Yeah, we did it! Nice, all right. Now I can kick his ass too. Let's try College Slam, which is a 4-player game. I just want to see if we can do anything 4-player. All right, it looks like we do have 4 controller setup working. Look at that. Yeah, there we go. And for these guys, I don't know. Yeah, that works.
Today's matchup, Badgers versus Spartans.
Okay, look at that. That's player 1, that's player 2, that's player 3, and that is player 4. Let's go. All right, so a few more things we can do in the immediate term, in the short term, to kind of take this to the next level. First of all, we can put that deck protector on here, and also the cartridge collar, which the version I have of it is done. I think we could probably improve it a little bit, but for now, I feel pretty comfy putting it back on. So let's do that. Let's get this on here first. Great fit, as it should be. Give the top a little bit more of a wipe down here. So these are just dust covers for the joysticks. Visually, they seal off that whole area. And I'm gonna put the bat tops back on here. I do have ball tops as well, but I don't know if we're ever gonna use those. I like the feel of these a lot better. I don't wanna force it, but it kind of feels like I have to. Oh yeah, look at that, it looks fantastic. And then we put a game in here. It's kind of a tight fit, but it works. Let's take a listen. Oh yeah. So that was a pretty long week of troubleshooting and diagnosing things, but we are in a really good spot this week. I think really the only things left to do are we're gonna do the cap kit and do the triple bypass mod chip to the Genesis that's in there right now. In addition to that, I think I might do a little bit of cleaning up of the paint on the edges of the panel here, but overall, I think we're like 99% there, right? We got 2-player games running on it, we got 4-player games running on it. I'm really, really proud of the work we did this week, and I think I'm just gonna take a few days off and just enjoy playing it, right? Like, it's been so long and this has been standing in my living room for so long. It feels so good to finally be at this point. So come back next week, we're gonna have the wrap up and we're gonna finish up the final modifications to this, and yeah, then we'll have the big reveal. So thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next week.